a loss against Fnatic yesterday in a much-needed win for themselves to keep their playoffs hopes alive.
Yeah, for BDS, really, you need to win this series. There are still ways they can make it through via tiebreakers if they do lose against GIANTX. As you said, if GX lose this series, they are out and they will join Rogue as our teams are being eliminated. So, Jace ban, Maokai ban, Yone ban, and Nidalee ban so far, Vedi. Nothing too exciting. The Nidalee, obviously. Have seen Isma bring it out a couple of times.
Azir, Talia, Rumble are all the champions we're thinking about as being high priorities. Xin Zhao for 113 makes a lot of sense. Even though he didn't win with it yesterday, I still think it's a champion you can't afford to give him. It is his most played so far this split, and it's something that you can find a lot of great snap engages on. Rumble is available for BDS, something they prioritized yesterday in Game 1.
It's going to be the Varus straight away. Still a very powerful AD carry. We've seen Noah bring it out a couple of times so far this split. About 50-50 in the win rate on that one. BDS now, you can go for AD carry early, but jungle mid also makes a lot of sense. If you want something that can just team fight well, Nocturne Orianna does that pretty well, and Orianna was slightly buffed on this patch.
Are they thinking of doing the run back? Yesterday they had some really nice one-shots onto Upset, but then as they got later into the game, their target selection ended up being their undoing, because if they weren't killing Upset, Upset was killing them.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how things shift as they move into today's series. The Nocturne already locked in, as you highlighted.
I mean, it's not Orianna, isn't it?
It does feel like it.
If you pick the Nocturne, you then kind of have to pick the Orianna, because otherwise GIANTX could just say, oh, we'll just play Orianna mid ourselves. She's strong enough at the moment that I think that is fine. It is not Orianna. I'd like to see them have one more damage threat alongside their AD carry here. Yesterday we saw it was, if the Varus got killed, I was on Varus in that game, if the Varus got killed and they didn't burst Upset immediately, they just didn't have enough damage to win out the team fight in the end, right? So I'd like another damage threat from the top lane. We'll see where BDS do end up going, where Irrelevant decides he wants to play today. GIANTX looking towards an AP top, and Rumble often the first name on everyone's lips. 15-4 in the LEC is the little yodel.
Good top liner.
Is he good or is he just really strong?
Well,
does that make him good?
Yeah, I
guess
with one
that's
another,
true.
are they not?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, GX looks like they're keeping it simple. Skarner going to make his way into Isma's hands. So already we're looking at more of a front-to-back style composition with solid backline threat thanks to the Rumble. You know, I was thinking for BDS that Rumble is something they should have considered, like Nocturne, Orianna, Rumble, huge amounts of backline threat, can cause a huge amount of chaos, but they decided to prioritize getting that mid lane champion. Now, how are they going to round things out? Gnar. I mean, it is Irrelevant's most played so far this split, and I can see the potential. It gives you a decent laning phase into the Rumble at the very least, but in terms of what they want the composition to do, I don't know if I love it. I guess you could argue that there is that degree of side lane threat that it does provide. You do still have the ability to create alternative wombo combos with the ultimate as well. But so far, I think that I'm favoring GX's foundation a little bit more, just because you expect them to have a winning bot side simply because they have the Varus. The Rumble on the top side has great early to mid game power with a lot of strong scaling elements, and they've already got such a solid front line with the Skarner. Just feels like as a baseline compositions, it provides a lot of solid tools. Yeah,
I agree with that overall, and GIANTX have the opportunity to ban out some of those AD carries now as well, having already locked theirs in. BDS are going to remove some of Jackie's mid lane pool. I do think he had a good time in Madrid as well, had a couple of really strong pop-off games on the Yone, I remember in particular. Obviously, it's already banned out here, so not going to see him piloting that one. We'll maybe want to look for some AD out of the mid lane. Tristana is the next option up there, but he can still go AP mid. You have a bit of an AP heavy top side, but you still have the Varus to carry you through later on.
I will say the Ezreal ban is a little surprising, only because Ice hasn't actually played it once this split. He's actually had a preference for the Jhin and the Ashe with a bit of Sivir in there as well. Zeri is one of the scaling AD carries that when you say you want more damage, this champion definitely provides it. Yeah. Rough laning phase though, against the Varus specifically. It will largely depend on what Yeah, I was.
There we are.
So Jhin gives
instead.
you a better laning phase. Of course, a lot of this will be determined based on the support matchup, and I think BDS is smart actually saving that for the last pick, just because it means that you can alleviate some of the pressure from the Varus. Right now, GX, I'm sure, would love a little bit more engage. I remember Ahri used to be a fantastic answer into Orianna. I would say that the matchup has shifted over the years, where Ahri just really bullies you super hard early because it's so difficult for the Ahri to really trade back. But if you ever burn the flash from Orianna, that matchup gets super scary for the Orianna, because Ahri just has so much potential setup.
Especially into a Skarner as well, because the Skarner just ease behind you. It's like, okay, cool, how on earth do I escape this? I can command dissonance myself to get a little bit of movement speed, 100%. But it doesn't really matter into the upheaval. It looks like GIANTX might go for a little bit more of a consistent mid laner in terms of damage later on in the game. The Azir gives them solid front to back. You have Varus and Azir, you've got good range as well. You have some backline threat with the Rumble, but instead, Akali gives you more backline threat with a little bit less consistent DPS.
I was going to say that I think GX's comp is very standard, very solid, front to back. You have so many tools. You know, you have solid laning phase. You've got prio across the board. Like, there's a lot you can do. And then he said, you know what? It's Jackie. Slam me and Akali. So he wants a little bit more skill expression. The great thing about Akali into the Orianna matchup specifically is that you get to a point where Ori really can't do anything about you.
Yeah.
But the
is that
phase...
3 haunting guises? 4 haunting guises? How many do you need?
We can keep track of how many haunting guises he built this time around. Maybe that's going to be a bit of a shift. But the early laning phase definitely can be a struggle. Again, though, Orianna is a champion. If you burn her flash, there's a lot of setup for assassins to really punish her for that. So we'll see how the mid lane matchup plays out. As the desk was talking, this is a matchup that we'll be keeping our eyes on. And the thing you have to respect is Nuke. He's a player that he pushes you hard in the laning phase. His laning has improved so much compared to when he started in the LEC to what he is now. One of the top mid laners that we have in the league, and if you give him an inch, he is the type of player to take a mile. But on the side of BDS, they have a composition that has a lot more dive threat. I would say it's a little bit different to yesterday in the sense that yesterday they brought out the Shen and the Varus, which is really all about locking down that single target. But this time around, they've got a little bit more pick potential. Of course, the Jhin can still follow up on things like the Shockwave. The Gnar provides you with a little bit more teamfight value, and the Rakan with the mobility makes following up on the Nocturne engages that much quicker. But I guess they're not so reliant on the Nocturne engage because they also have the Rakan there to follow.
We'll see how well BDS can enact this game plan here against GIANTX. Both teams not truly do or die, but pretty damn close. For GIANTX, if they lose, they are out, and Rogue are knocked out of contention for playoffs as well. BDS can lose and still make it through via tiebreakers, but can't lose and make it in without those tiebreakers. So we will see how well both teams do as we make it onto Summoner's Rift for our first game of the day. Only 5 days left of the LEC regular season, Vedi. Then we get to take a wee break before we come back for our 3 weeks of playoffs. I think it's 3 weeks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
A certain event also occurs during those.
What's that? Is it the release of the new Pokemon set, Vedi?
I don't know, is it?
Yeah, well, I think it happens on the 18th is pre-release, so...
Okay, I mean, the fact that you're hesitating on that answer would disappoint your wife.
Well, it's either the 18th or 17th, and I keep getting it wrong. I do know I'm going to be in the shop making sure I'm getting some of those ETBs, Vedi, okay? It's one thing I've been asked to do.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so we look across some of the runes that we just saw on our screen. Phase Rush on Orianna, I think, is a great choice into Akali specifically. Getting that extra burst of movement speed is really valuable, just because you also apply that slow onto Akali and then also get the bonus movement speed. It helps you create that distance when she's really threatening some sort of kill. Isma going to be spotted out with the ward dropped early from BDS to investigate where he is beginning his jungle clear. And Lot, a player that I think really did stand out, because I think that so far in spring, he hasn't had the strongest of performances, but last week in Madrid, he really did show up for the team. And GX, it was great getting to hear from them, the excitement that they showed, especially after their big victory on the first day. A lot of eyes are on GX to see if they can make this miracle turnaround happen, and if they can qualify for the spring playoffs.
It would be pretty miraculous if they do manage to do it. That G2 win, only their second win so far in the LEC regular season. For BDS, they're playing their last series of the regular season here against GIANTX. GIANTX have one more against Heretics at the end of week 7.
It's a bit surreal to think that this could be BDS's last series of the split.
Oh, it could be the last series until, what, August? Start of August or so for summer?
Yep.
That's a long break. Like, basically it's like being back at school. You just take a long summer holidays and then come back, you know?
But we know how eager these players are to compete, and that's what they want to be doing. So everything on the line today for both sides. We find ourselves off with a timid start to the game, very much as what we would expect. Right now, on the bot side of the map, losing out on that prio, just because GX decided to go for the Alistar. Doesn't give you the strongest laning prowess, and especially with the Jhin Rakan, it does give you a little bit more push. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, you're seeing very much what we expected. Janky's being chipped away at.
So I just love the take notes emote sliding down the bottom of the screen as Isma makes his way over to his Razor Beaks and will clear towards that bottom side. Both the junglers, as has been mentioned, are going down towards that bot lane. Looks like 113 is about to camp ahead right now, as I wonder if we will see a battle over the Scuttle Crabs. Both the entrances for Isma have been warded, so it's going to be a little bit tricky for him to actually find an avenue into that river unspotted, and also he's going to be a little bit slower than this Nocturne on the first clear.
Jackie needs to be thinking about pacing soon, but he's just now going to pop his pot. If he gets level 4, he can survive a little bit longer. You know, on the bot side, a bit of a wave stacking up should make it easy for 113 to be able to secure that bot crab. But overall, timid start to the series, very much as we
are only 3 minutes in as well, Betty.
Yeah,
I think sometimes we can build ourselves up getting into a series, or the hype of through draft, the walkouts, etc., and then it's like, oh, nothing's happened for the first 4 minutes.
No, it's
please.
a standard start, I would say.
Yeah, standard. I'll give you standard.
I mean, it's a significant juxtaposition to the traditional solo queue experience, where at this point in the game, people are already typing FF.
Yeah, true.
You know? So,
113 smite. Not able to get in range in time. Isma gets the smite down.
Information garnered.
Yeah, well, I was hoping. 113 did have a very small window where I think he had a smite advantage there. He could have flash smited. Learned from Blabber.
He could have done that, could he?
I mean, Blabber did it, you know?
How'd that pan out?
I can't remember the rest of the series.
Pretty sure it didn't go
pretty sure that was the end of the game, actually. It was a display of dominance that they said, cool, you got the crab.
Right, League officials immediately stepped in and said, all right, we can call it here.
The mercy rule in League of Legends. If someone flash smites your crab away from you, they're just given the series.
Now, 113, because he started on Raptors, the respawn timer had already come back up, so he's already on his second clear through the jungle. He is a little bit faster than that of Isma, who had to wait for the wolves to respawn. And you can see that he's already going to go back to base, and this is tempo. So he's already back out onto the map first, and he has a window where he can make a play before Isma can respond. I don't think he's going to, but he can if he really wants to.
We'll see if GIANTX can deal with the whiplash of him being out so quickly. Using this tempo so effectively. Oh, it's wolves, Vedi. Those wolves are going to struggle with it. Just to remind you guys all of the stakes of this game, because we are joking around a little bit at the start of it, but for GIANTX, if they win, BDS will need a tiebreaker to qualify. GIANTX can still qualify via just winning out their series, but maybe some tiebreakers there as well. Whereas if BDS win, GIANTX and Rogue are fully eliminated from playoffs. So obviously, if you're a GIANTX fan, you kind of want them to win. Not that you'd want them to lose ever if you're a fan of them, but I do think as well, I did do the 5-way tie setup. Well, yeah, so there is a possibility of a 5-way tie between G2, BDS, SK, GIANTX, and Rogue. And for that to happen, GIANTX need to win this series.
Damn.
But the first 2 series yesterday went the way that we needed them to go.
Oh, really?
So we're 2 out of how many series are left? Quite a few for that to happen.
Okay. Well, we'll keep track of that throughout the day. I don't want to ask you what the other results are.
Oh, I can tell you very quickly, Betty. No, I'll rack them off quickly. So Vitality would have to win next, then Heretics, then Koi, then SK, then KC, then Vitality, then KC, then Heretics, then Rogue, and then we would have a 5-way tie for 6th position.
All right, did you all keep track of that? Did you all write that down?
Write it down, noted.
I take notes. I mean, it's already been given.
Isma's been doing it. It's a big fall from grace for BDS, though, if they don't make it to the playoffs, considering how they were.
I mean, last year they were consistently a top 3 team, and for them to find themselves in this position after making the roster changes that they did, as ultis get traded between the 2 top laners, looks like Lot is going to win out on that one as he forces the flash away from Irrelevant. Irrelevant has to be cautious of a potential dive. Looks like, yeah, you can see how hesitant he is. He's wary of the potential dive. He drops the ward in the brush as well. And yeah, this is not ideal for Irrelevant, so he takes a bad trade. He loses his flash, and he also loses the wave, and now he also hasn't based yet, which means that Lot is also going to come back to wave quicker, and it's already pushing out that wave. So Lot already off to a massive lead on the top side of it.
Yeah, it was already winning out in the 1v1 as well. You can see about a 20 CS lead for the Rumble over the Gnar there. Jackie's starting to trade in effectively against Nuke, who has gone For the tier first, Seraph's an item we most commonly see on the Orianna, especially into things like Akali that want to burst you down. I was wondering perhaps if Nuke would go for the Catalyst of Aeons build, where you start the Rod of Ages, but you never complete it. You just get that Catalyst, sit on it for the game, and then sell it for 900 gold, third or fourth item when you want to get a good spike for later game. But
I want to say we saw it on.
Yeah, Humanoid did it yesterday, but seems like he's not going down that route. Or at least for now.
I mean, credit to Jackies. This can be a very difficult matchup, but he's done a good job of staying even in CS. There's the first haunting guy.
Yeah, one mask down.
Yep. We'll see if he continues to stack those. For now, though, really the only significant advantage gained is on the top side of the map. Grubs are already spawned. No early prioritization on the Dragon. Are we going to see a swap come through? I know that this has been a big discussion pretty much throughout the day yesterday. And I feel like that the game... So my opinion on the game state right now is that Rakan isn't that big of a deal.
Sure.
So between 15 and 20 minutes, the game just slows down a lot.
As opposed to these first 8 minutes that have been breakneck.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly. But I understand for these teams, obviously a lot on the line, so it makes sense they would want to take things slow in the early game. Isma's going to start off the Dragon. But that 15 to 25 minute window is actually where I think is super interesting, because teams, I think, get very impatient when they don't have a clear objective to necessarily play for, and that's when mistakes happen. And so that's going to be this window where both teams need to focus and make sure they're thinking very clearly about what they want to do in the next steps, and they don't overstep, and make sure they give that opportunity to their opposition to punish.
It's interesting how quickly sort of like the collective memory of players and of people shifts. Because up until 5 months ago, Rakan never existed. And there was this huge gap in that time anyway.
Baron spawned at 20.
Baron spawned at 20,
that was the biggest difference.
Yeah,
so
I guess that's
if
true,
you were in a winning position, you could force it.
You could force Baron at 20 minutes.
Now, is on 113, hovering around top lane here.
Oh, 113 is going to go in with the Paranoia. Flash away from Lot. The Fear still should connect here, but Isma's on his way across. Has that Impale. 113 down, as is Lot. Now Isma trying to trade in with Irrelevant, but Irrelevant has no flash to follow up. Perfect execution from Jackies. Has to flash away after using that ultimate. Uses the R2 to escape across the wall. So Flash is exchanged in mid, a top lane and a jungler exchanged in top.
Action kicking off now across the rift. It was BDS that drew first blood, but as we rightly identified, the exchange did come through. Nice use of the spell shield from 113 in that skirmish to mitigate the knockback that was coming through from Isma, allowed him to stick onto Lot to make sure there was enough damage to be able to secure that kill. We'll get an early Tiamat as Isma now looks to finish off the Grubs, meaning all of these early objectives actually going the way of GX, given that Isma chose to stick around. Crucially, in this mid lane, both flashes used. Could be a potential gank opportunity for both sides as we move closer to the mid game. We look back at this play. The ultimate comes down from 113. Flash to make sure that he can connect the tether. And then here you'll notice the spell shield comes through. Isma not able to drag him into the wall. Means that 113 has just enough time to be able to get enough damage down. And they get the flash out from Isma as well. Arsteal going to be completed. Find ourselves one-on-one. Gold still very even, with still a sizable advantage in favor of Lot on the top.
Yeah, the advantage really is mostly that Rumble in the top lane. Very powerful in the lane, can just push things out, building up towards his Leandries. Both the AED carries have been switched towards the mid lane, but Grubs and the Drake over to GIANTX puts them in a good position, at least on the early neutrals. We didn't see the first Paranoia having as much effect as 113 would like, but did manage to pick up a kill in the end.
You'll notice now Orianna being moved off into a side lane. Nuke has to be a lot more passive than he was in the mid lane. The longer lane, especially without the flash, leaves him much more prone to a potential gank. And without huge support from his team, he has to be very cautious. And what you see on the map right now is exactly what we're talking about. He realizes that it's GX that have the push in mid. They're already moving into the bot side jungle. Nuke has to be very cautious. And this is great for Jackies because he's alleviated a lot of pressure. He can help push out waves comfortably, and he can quickly start ramping towards that first major item.
And it's also why we see Jhin moving with Isma into that jungle, just to deny vision as well. Like, Nuke has no vision in his blue side jungle. You never know where that Alistar is. The Varus can deal with the mid lane by himself, has the teleport as well, so even if it takes a bad trade, can get back in there quickly enough to hold down the fort on the tier 1.
I mean, you can even see it on the minimap. Just notice how hesitant he's playing around this tower. There's just very little vision, as Medic was just highlighting for us, and so he just has to play super defensively and super safe.
And it's also why Parus recalls, gets stacks on his warding item, and then immediately runs back through this blue side. It's like, okay, I have to invest some vision around here, at least have to try and clear out some vision for the Orianna. Puts one control ward around the blue, Now we'll put one in the tri-bush. A lot of resources being invested in making sure Nuke is safe in this bot lane. Then we might see that change in about a minute and a half time when Nuke's flashes back up, but it's still possible that BDS will want to make sure Nuke gets towards that first, second item in a timely manner.
And I'm looking at 113 here.
Oh, Paranoia going in. There's the chase. Flash away from Noah into the CC from Ice. The curtains open immediately. 113 closes them on Noah. That's the risk when you're playing against a Jhin and a Nocturne. Irrelevant going in here as well. The equalizer on the wrong side from Lot. Irrelevant not tanking it at all. Lot has no flash. Irrelevant needs 2 more autos, but the scrap shield's enough to keep Lot alive. Meanwhile, Parus caught out down towards the bottom side, pops the quickness, and dashes away to Nuke. Gets to safety and survives a possible die.
Action happening across the rift as it's 113 to initiate the play in the mid lane, finding that valuable pick onto Noah, but GX responding kind on the bot side of the map, zoning Nuke away from valuable farms, stealing away 113's camps, and doing what they can to chip away at this bot tower. It's GX that still hold on to the gold lead, thanks to the advantages that they built at top lane, but now Jackie's, after getting these isolated plates, has a gold lead over Nuke as well.
He's about 500 gold ahead, has 2 of those masks now, so truly starting up some sort of masquerade ball on that Akali. We'll see how far he goes. Like, the passive on them isn't unique, which is important to talk about. Like, whenever you see someone stacking multiple of these items, often you'll look at it, especially in modern day League, and it's like, that doesn't make too much sense. But importantly, Madness is not unique on Haunting guys, so you can stack it up a few times and get extra bonus damage out of being in combat.
Parus looking to spot out Isma, who's now working on his 3rd objective of the game. But you are right. We'll see how much value Jackie's ends up getting out of the build. Last time things didn't quite work out the way that he wanted. So far, this Dragon is going to go uncontested, so BDS conceding a decent amount here in the early game. I think GX is playing around the map very well. And Lot, I mean, even though a decent amount of resources was thrown towards him on the top side of the map, he's done a great job.
Yeah.
In isolation, tanking the ganks. Obviously, he came very close to losing his life against 113, but he does survive it. He holds on to the gold lead for now. He's now hitting that Leandries, working towards that second item. So this Rumble is scaling nicely. And let's not forget, Irrelevant did pick the Gnar into this. And so far, that pick is not panning out. Maybe he can find that huge ultimate that can swing things in his favor as Jhin invests some vision on the top side of the map.
I mean, Jhin has been all over the map with vision in this game. I want to give him a lot of credit. You see how often he's in the right position to get vision down to make sure that 113 can't find a sneak attack somewhere. 113 was pathing up towards the top side. Jhin comes across, wards it out, and then 113 immediately starts to back away. Vision down towards that bottom side as well, but you can't back away from this. The Paranoia into Shockwave. Noah, no vision would have saved him there. Lot down to half HP. Isma stepping forward as well. Jhin coming in from the side, but no real follow-up, no real damage here right now for GIANTX. They're continuing to poke and prod and land the suppression onto Parus. There's the Impale as well. They'll pull him back. The quickness doesn't really come off in time with that grand entrance. BDS still looking for a little bit more, but it's pretty scattershot here, Vedi.
Ends up being a 1-for-1 as Parus overstays his welcome, but Noah, there was very little he could do. Both teams still sizing each other up in the river.
Flash, headbutt, pulverize, equalizer, Nuke flashes across the wall, and here's Akali to chase him down. Jackie's gets one, Ice the next target as they dash away upheaval. Just sliding by Ice, unable to get that final bit of damage.
GX not happy with how the first skirmish ended, so they wanted to go for more, and they get a pick onto Nuke. Isma making that drift happen was honestly very surprising. The fact that he was able to still connect Nuke into that wall meant that they could follow up, get themselves another kill. Ice, though, I mean, he was ice cold in that play. He held on to his summoner spells. He walks away with all of them up. GX build a slightly larger lead. Nothing significant going to come off the back of it. Herald, of course, is still alive. And I imagine they're going to look to try and start that one off.
That's what all the fighting was really about. Lot and Jhin coming across to cover their bot side, make sure this red buff isn't stolen away. Next Drake up in 2.5 minutes, so still a while before we see either of the teams having to battle around that. It's about 1,000 gold lead, 800 or so for GIANTX now, and a lot of that is focused on Jackie's in the mid lane and Lot on the top side. 113 has been able to get himself ahead. You know, he's got 2 of those 3 kills for BDS as Jhin is caught out just a smidge. Shockwave's going to bring him back. Unbreakable will not available to the Alistar now as Lot comes in from the side but can't really protect Jhin from Nuke. BDS get another on the board.
Let's play there from Jhin as he gets caught out. Nuke getting some much needed gold as Jackie's now finds himself in a side lane against Irrelevant. Overall, while the kills do slightly favor BDS, GX are really the ones running the map. Ultimate going to come through from Lot to clear out that
TP
wave.
behind as well, Betty. Jackie's trying to collapse onto Nuke here. Paranoia is available for 113. Jackie's has the perfect execution. 113 just waiting in the bush. Jackie's dancing forward. Nuke trying to dance around in the shield. Just enough with the Seraphs to keep Nuke alive. Less than 100 HP there, falling down to about 50.
Value of Seraphs really proving its worth there as he keeps Nuke alive. But you're seeing the threat that this Akali can provide onto the Orianna. Why it's going to be that much harder in a side lane. Jackie's obviously off to a fantastic start in this game, and he's only going to become more problematic as the game continues. The Herald now dropped into mid lane as GX want to keep the pressure up. They secure the bot tier 1. They're going to open up the mid tier 1 soon. They're likely going to put themselves in a fantastic map state, ready for the oncoming dragon in about a minute's time as well. If they can secure this tower, it makes it that much easier to push in this mid wave, move into enemy jungle, set up that control, and be ready to put yourself on soul point.
Yeah, the only problem for GIANTX in the next couple of minutes is that Jackie's did use his TP to get down towards that bottom side, but Noah has teleport and Lot has it, right? So you're still going to be able to answer at least some of that side lane pressure. Drake up in 40 seconds would be soul point for GIANTX if they can find it. Item and a half on both of BDS's key carries, the Orianna and the Jhin. On the other side, Jackie's is still... Right, he's playing behind the masks, has a needlessly large rods alongside it, but I wonder if he's going to complete an item soon, Betty. Does he need to? Is Haunting Guys just this OP?
That's a great question that I don't have an answer for you.
Same. I know it's a workable build. I just don't know at what point you have to switch away from just the masks, you know?
113 pops the ult.
Paranoia, there's the shockwave, hits onto Lot, but he has a stopwatch. TP going onto the backline as well as Parus comes in with the quickness. There's the curtain call as well. They're trying to kill off Lot, and they'll find him first. Isma looking for Nuke, but can't quite get the damage down. Jackie's coming in from the side as well. Chases onto Irrelevant, uses him as a quick taxi to get onto the backline and chases Ice down, but Ice with a flash, and Parus escaping as well. BDS managed to get all 5 members out alive, but there is still a Drake to be fought over. No Impale, no Chain, no Unbreakable Will. No ultimates on the other side either. Nuke's shockwave about halfway off its cooldown. GIANTX have the health bars and they are going to be able to secure the Drake unless something very special happens from BDS.
I mean, it was a nice engage from BDS. It really looked like that they were going to just walk away with that team fight, but the arrival of Jackie's and the backline damage he was able to do just forces the carries away from the fight. Nuke and Ice immediately get zoned away, and there's very little that they can do to stop it. So the engage comes through, Jackie's isn't there, the TP is quick from Irrelevant. He gets a really nice Mega Gnar off onto many people. Noah really struggles to have impact in the fight, doesn't connect on his Q, and you can just see the combo coming through. It looks lethal, it looks very bad for GX, but then Jackie's arrives. He uses his ultimate, immediately turns his attention on Parus and Ice. They're then forced to disengage. An early heal comes out from Parus to help his AD carry survive. But as we get back out onto the map, BDS set their sights on Rakan, and they're going to get it uncontested.
Yeah, because they didn't die, they were able to reset immediately and just walk their way up towards the Rakan. GIANTX had to spend a little bit more time defending their position around the Drake. So it's soul point versus an Rakan. I think GIANTX were going to get the dragon anyway. Here comes the Shockwave Paranoia combo once again. Lot did flash away, and 113 will burn to death. Lot falls to Irrelevant. He tried to dash out, but he tanks the tower shot, and his life is forfeit. Good dodge on the Impale. Into the Chain of Corruption cleanse away by Ice. Parus distracting everyone, should be able to dodge away himself. Jackie's TP up in about 10 seconds time, but all the while he's just pushing that tier 2 in bot lane.
It's still a 2-for-1 in favor of GIANTX as Lot was able to find a very nice outplay, and by that I mean he threw his ultimate down and then he started burning everything around him. 113 was not tanky enough to weather the damage, and the arrival of Jhin to just provide that extra bit of CC, helping set up for a double kill in favor of Lot. And looks like Jackie's is actually going to secure that tower as well, so nothing but wins across the board here for GX.
You take that if you're GIANTX. Still only about 1,000 gold ahead, but in such a strong position for your carries. A lot of AP coming out. Shadow Flame now complete for Jackie's. Let's finally finish that first item, although not using either of the Haunting Guys is in his inventory. 113 goes in here, Vedi, but as you say, it's just the burn from Lot that takes him down.
And Irrelevant also standing on at the moment that he gets knocked up with the tower shot as well means that it's enough damage to turn it into a 2-for-1. And then Parus just buying time. He knows that he has the mobility to use Nuke to get away, but we immediately return to the map state. GX looking to chip away at Parus' HP bar.
Lot going in. Remember, doesn't have the flash. Grand entrance into the shockwave, but pops the Zhonya's in time, and now 113 is being held down on by Noah. Lot putting the damage back down with the equalizer, and Lot gets the kill on the enemy Nocturne. Irrelevant has been pushing bot this entire time. Should be able to take that tower down. So BDS do get something on the other side of the map at the expense of their jungler's life.
That was just a fight for control. As GX, they wanted a bit of vision into the entrance of BDS's topside jungle. Parus didn't want to allow it to happen, but he took way more damage than he was expecting, forcing BDS to try and respond, and at that point, they've overcommitted. Yep. They're already weaker when it comes to the fights, and 113 is just too squishy at this point. We've seen now for the second, maybe even third time where he goes in, and the Rumble pretty much solos him out of the fight, meaning that GX get themselves another kill. The gold is not inflating heavily in the way of GX, but I think it's misrepresentative of how much stronger GX really is right now. It feels that with this Akali on a side lane, like, Nuke is scared, and he very much should be. Even though he has the level advantage, Akali has more than enough kill threat, and without proper support, Nuke is in danger. So GX in a fantastic position. They're waiting for the next dragon to spawn, but Baron is going to be up at the same time, and it gives them a lot of luxury because they can choose between whether they want to play for the dragon or play for the Baron, and they can force BDS into this very difficult choice.
Yep. We'll see what GIANTX decide to do, playing for their lives here in the LEC Spring. Currently deciding just to take away this red buff, have set up their vision line pretty well in towards this red side jungle. Irrelevant pushing out bot. I think Lot will be sent down to deal with that. Currently he's kind of hovering around mid, maybe expecting when Noah steps up that 113 will look for that Orianna Nocturne combination again. The darkness blender, I guess. What do you want to call it? Like paranoia shockwave.
Jake also tried to come up with a name for it yesterday.
I feel like it should have a name.
Well, he thought it was the submarine, and I had to explain what.
That's Twitch with Channel.
Well, yeah, it's because you go underneath, you're invisible, and then you pop up. Surprise! I don't know. You ever been scared in the dark before? What'd you call that?
Fear of wolves for me. There's a Doctor Who episode where the Queen turns into a werewolf, and that one had me sleeping with a nightlight for a while, Betty.
Combo.
It's the Queen Elizabeth werewolf combo with Nocturne Orianna.
The thing that terrified me was the girl from The Ring.
I never watched The Ring. Still haven't watched it.
I wouldn't recommend it. TV's just become a point of fear moving forward.
Uses a TV in this day and age, Betty. Projectors is where it's at. GIANTX setting up around the bottom side here. Infernal Drake, their real prize. But all they want to do is have BDS step into the meat grinder. Nuke using the ball to scout out a little bit. Jackie's looking for the flank. Irrelevant. Trying to mark him. Doesn't quite know where he is. Does now. As Jackie jumps in, jumps out. Takes a ticket with the blue buff to escape. Could have been a precarious spot. Drake has spawned. GIANTX taking a little bit of poke here. Playing around that mid-wave. You can see Noah charging up that piercing arrow. Still finds his mark. Isma's going to start up the Drake. I think there's vision in the back of the pit that BDS are relying on right now. Oh, it's cleared out by that control ward. So BDS don't know for sure that this has been started. Irrelevant. No Mega Gnar bar for him. Nuke taking a chunk. Dragon down to 7,000. Parus still stepping forward. GIANTX playing in the darkness. Jhin goes in. 113 flashes away. And there's the paranoia. Equalizer to separate the team. 113 going in, looking for the smite. Lands it. No soul for GIANTX, but perhaps the fight. A great Gnar into the wall. Locks Jackie's against it. Jhin going in as well. But he's sure to fall. Flash impale from Isma. And Noah untouched so far. Lot falling lower, has the Zhonya's. Buys himself a second. Isma slams Parus into the wall, who gets the grand entrance, but no grand exit for him. The fight goes in GIANTX's favor as Noah finds the final shot through the heart of Nuke. The Drake secured for BDS, but the fight in favor of GIANTX.
It's a huge team fight win for GX, even though they ended up losing the Dragon. A nice steal comes through from 113 as Jhin tries to deter him from entering the pit. But once the ultimate drops, he has an avenue into the Dragon pit, and he's able to get a clutch steal. Then the fight kicks off. Jackie sets his sights onto the backline, immediately gets impaled into the wall, and it's at this point where you're looking at the HP bars and it looks scary, but then Isma with the nice flash impale to turn the fight in the favor of GX, because LEC buys enough time, thanks to the Zhonyas, to be able to reset with his team. Noah comes up, and then the Comet ends up clearing up the final kill, allowing GX to win out on the fight.
113 caught out a little bit in his jungle. Parus here to act as a bit of a bodyguard, jumps in with the entrance and battle dances his way out. Baron's still up, of course, a 3,000 gold lead now for GIANTX. 3 items complete on Noah and almost on Jackie's. He's got a Bloodletters, a Shadow Flame, and a Haunting Guise. 210 sacks for Isma as well. Often we see Heartsteel's not stacked up that much in pro, so credit to him. He's been finding fights, he's been getting his clinks, which, as every ARAM player knows, vital thing to do.
I mean, right now, GX is just in a fantastic position. We haven't really seen a significant gold lead for GX throughout the game, but now with a 2.5k gold lead and these items coming through, I guess you could argue that when you actually look at the itemization, it doesn't look that significantly different. The fact that Nuke has Death Cap as well, that kind of both mid lane is pretty much even in terms of itemization, depending on how much value you put behind the Haunting Guise, contributing to all the additional damage you're generating from the other 2 items.
I'd say they're pretty even right now.
Yeah,
I'd agree with you there,
and then the AD carries are also, I mean, they're both bang on 3 items, so the gold is deceptive, but just the way the fights are playing out, it feels like the GX are just playing them better. They're getting better execution, and they're walking away with, I mean, we've seen multiple times now them walking away with just more kills and more advantages. Jackie's being cautious in the side lane as he gets closer to 16.
The reason he's being cautious is, oh, I pressed entirely the wrong button here, Vedi. This is why I don't use it. 113 was spotted on that ward, that little control ward there, as he walked down towards the bottom lane. So Jackie's knew 113 was in the area, which is why he then started to step all the way back, as opposed to trading a little bit more with Irrelevant, which is what Jackie's tends to do in his side lane 1v1. So good deep vision. 113 should have checked the bush as he walked past, but very easy to miss that, because your natural pathing, if you just click down towards the bottom tri-bush, doesn't always take you through it.
GX now testing the waters in BDS's jungle. Baron becomes the next big point of contention, but GX could say it's too much of a risk and instead wait for the next dragon to spawn in about 1.5 minutes. Remember that we're still waiting to see that shotgun, and here it is.
There's the shockwave, the shotgun combo, and there's the curtains that close quickly shut on Noah. 113 pulled back underneath the tower. He's going to die as well. So it's a 1-for-1 exchange. Jungler for AD carry. As BDS do find the shotgun, but only had 1 bullet in it, Eddie.
Yeah, that is the risk of the composition, but they do take out Noah. He did have some huge value in the last team fight, but then Jackie's picking up that kill is only going to put this Akali even further ahead. 1-for-1 is not the ideal situation for BDS, given that it's GX that are pushing in these lanes, getting more control over the map. I like the vision coverage that BDS currently have over the bot side of the map, ready for the dragon, because GX now have to invest their resources into clearing out all of this vision, which they're setting their sights on doing now. Parus doing what he can to still provide some information for his team. They haven't spotted this control ward still. Now it's BDS that once again finds themselves on the back foot.
Jackie's TPing for a flank position here towards the top side as well. Jhin gonna get knocked up. There's the equalizer down. Jackie's trying to get in. Irrelevant about to go Mega Gnar here. We'll get the Gnar back, but only onto Isma. Locks a lot against the wall, but not real too much. Follow up. There's the shockwave and the quickness combination. We kept thinking about the paranoia and forgot about the quickness. Lot flame spitters Irrelevant down, flashes away himself. 113 on the chase now as Lot goes into the overheat and burns through 113. Isma across the wall is now in the middle of 4. Lands the impale but dies for it. BDS fight back. Only Noah left standing. Paranoia will get rid of the edge of night. And in goes 113 again. It's curtains for Noah. A great fight for BDS.
It's an ace for BDS out of nowhere. In a map state where it felt like GX was riding the momentum, making it impossible for BDS to find the play, they're able to find the angle. Noah wasn't with the team. BDS had a numbers advantage, and the shockwave that came through from Nuke, the engage that comes through from Parus, was a game-changing play. We look at this poke coming through from GX, testing the waters. The Rumble ultimate comes through. Jackie's on the flank. They force the flash out from Ice, but it's at this point where Irrelevant gets the ulti. He sees the stun that comes down onto Jackie's, and then the follow-up from both Parus and Nuke. Then at this point, it just becomes a chase. Lot is doing insane damage. You think at this point, there's even a window where he'll even get himself another kill. Fortunately, his team is there to help secure that kill. Isma thinks that with Noah, maybe they can get more, but Noah's not in a position to follow up. We get back to live, and Jhin is trying to interrupt this Baron.
Parus looking for the knock-up. Jhin flashes forward, though. 113 has to flash away. TP coming in from Irrelevant, who has just come out of base. Sterak's complete for him. Gnar trying to build it up. Needs to jump over the wall. Goes Mega as he does, so has enough health to survive. GIANTX might use that as their cue to go towards the Baron, knowing that 113 is low. No flash now on that Nocturne, but they won't quite, well, they won't decide to immediately force it. Lot will get the mid prio. Looks like resets coming out from Jhin and Isma.
A tense situation now as the game kind of resets. BDS have done a successful job of denying the soul away from GX. Baron is still a scary objective to just start up on a whim, especially given that Noah is going for that lethality build. They don't have the fastest Baron taking team on the side of GX.
I mean, Irrelevant shows bot though, and had just used his teleport from the fountain to the mid lane, so GIANTX will just immediately start this up. 113 has the paranoia, and we have the shockwave. I'm going to call it the dishwasher, Vedi, because it spins, it's dark, and you get rinsed if it hits you. We'll see if they want to use that combo, if they can use it effectively. Jackie's on a good flank position. Now there's a little bit of vision in the pit. Parus puts a ward in. They know it's being done. Jhin looking for the Hex Flash. Irrelevant's worked his way up from the bot side. Baron has been stopped. The Impale going in as well as they try and lock up 113, who will die. Everything in darkness for the moment now. We pop back into sight. Parus looking for that engage, can't find it. BDS will play around the mid lane prio for now. Baron being pinged by GIANTX. They want to start it again. Jackie still has that flank position and has his ultimate, that perfect execution available to him. It's the only ultimate available to all of GIANTX. A quickness, a shockwave from Parus and Nuke could quite quickly kill off GIANTX. There's the curtain call. Jackie's still unable to find a way on towards the backline. Parus stepping forward, Baron secured. Jackie's goes in, immediately knocked up and stunned with the quickness, but Jackie's finds one. It's Nuke dead on the backline. Ice trying to open up. He'll take down Lot. Irrelevant about to go Mega, but Ice is so far away. Can they re-engage? Noah at half HP. Chain of Corruption buffered out by Irrelevant, but good poke onto him means that he's walking away wounded, and GIANTX get the Baron.
A very nice Baron overall from GX's. Remember, the initial Baron start was used to find that pick onto 113. With no smite available, they're basically relying on Nuke or Ice to be able to find a clutch steal with their ulti, but they're not able to find it. The position is quite threatening as the ulti drops down from Ice and Nuke is in a position to steal with the shockwave. The shockwave comes through, it doesn't quite do enough damage, and then Jackie turns his attention onto the backline. Very nice pick onto Nuke, a follow-up kill onto the Rakan. But then once they lose their front line, GX realize we don't have the HP to chase this. We'll be happy with the Baron.
With 2 minutes left on the Baron buff, Lot not getting it, obviously pretty impactful for them, or dying at least. He's almost at 4 items on this Rumble. Irrelevant stepping forward, TP coming out from Lot. Drake up in a minute's time. Both teams just scuffling for this vision control. Jackie's is pushed in the bot side. BDS, all 5 members close enough. You could throw a towel over them right now. Everyone grouped up in mid. Irrelevant is going to work his way down towards that bottom lane. BDS unable to step forward to gain control of the mid wave. Ice trying to catch it as high as he can. Keep the possibility of BDS pushing GIANTX out of this jungle, but Jhin takes control, as does Isma. They'll clear out any BDS vision, and now BDS are fighting into the darkness.
I will say, as we get closer to this dragon, Ice is nothing but exceptional on this Jhin.
Yeah, he is.
Constantly finds ways to build gold leads, and I mean, with a 605 KDA this game, finding a way to avoid death. He's level 18, 365 CS as well. His positioning is so reliable, and he has often been the consistent carry for this BDS roster. Let's see if he can turn this game around for his team. The ball is on 113.
113, there's the shockwave onto Jackie's equalizer, goes a mile wide. Irrelevant able to dodge away from it, has the teleport as well. Jackie's down to about a 3rd HP. BDS still looking to get some purchase on a location in this river. TP coming out from Irrelevant.
Problem is, BDS, they've got no ammo, they can't reload. They've used the ultis now. That one-shot potential is gone. Jackie's will return to the fray. Irrelevant face checks Lot.
Irrelevant has to jump away. There's the Zhonya's out of Lot. That's big. Nuke from the side. Lot has to flash away. 7,000 HP. Now on the Drake, 113 looking for that steal again, doesn't have the flash, the curtain's open. Jackie's can get on towards the backline here. Drake secured, it's Infernal Soul, the quickness comes out, and Jackie's falls twice, BDS. Although they've lost the Drake, they've lost the Soul, maybe they can win the fight. Ice stepping forward again, there's a double for the Jhin. Yesterday it was 4, there's 3, make it more for BDS. Only Isma and Noah left alive as Ice continues to chase, but probably doesn't have the range to catch up with Noah.
BDS find another successful fight. Even though their initial burst combo doesn't really gain them much, in the extended trade they're able to turn things around. So much credit needs to be given to Parus. The quick reactions to chains. You see Jackie's coming in from the flank meant that Jackie's was null and void before he could really do anything. BDS now with the numbers advantage set their sights on the bot lane tower, and they're looking to stay relevant in this game 1.
Probably just 2 tier 2s for BDS off this though. You can see Parus should be able to collect the local gold from that mid lane tower falling. So BDS take a gold lead, but remember, Isma secured the soul. He won the smite fight, so it's going to be a difficult fight back. As you say, Vedius, Jackie's tries to get onto Ice, and immediately Parus is there.
Just such a good response from Parus, and at this point, Lot then gets locked up. He doesn't have his flash available, he doesn't have the Zhonya's either. Jhin doing what he can to keep his teammates alive. Ice does commit his flash to securing that 3rd kill. But BDS keeping their hopes alive here in this first game.
Baron up in a minute 40. Ice full build 905, a Medgice for Nuke. 6 stacks on it. Jackie's almost had his 4th item as well. The Rabadon's his prize at the end of that gold rainbow, I guess. The question for BDS is, can they win fights? Like, is Jackie's going to overextend onto the backline in a similar way? Will the Shockwave Dishwasher combination work out for them when you have 2 Zhonyas on the enemy team?
What's crucial to recognize is Noah does a lot of poke damage.
Yeah.
And so really, when you think about the consistent DPS, if you ignore kind of Jackie's wanting to try and assassinate someone on the backline, it's very much reliant on Lot.
True.
And so when he doesn't have his flash available, when the ultimate was already used very early on before the fight really kicked off, and then the fact that he didn't have his Zhonya's available either, it became very difficult for him to really impact that fight in the way that he would have wanted to. Now he's got the death cap available, his flash is still about 2 minutes away. He's a player that we'll have to keep our eyes on moving into the next fight because he's going to be crucial. But we're basically nearing full build across the board. The gold is meaning less and less by the minute. BDS was in a similar situation yesterday where they fell short to Fnatic in the final moments. A single fight could very well determine the entire game. And in this situation, it all comes down to execution. Jackie's, will he have enough for the death gap? Yes, he does.
Yes, he
okay, so both sides are happy with the itemization that they've gotten. And now we're just building towards the Baron.
I think for BDS, a single player making sure they press tab and ping the fact that Noah has a Zhonya's as well could change the outlook of this fight, because so often you just go on the AD carry and think, oh, we can burst him, right? Here, he's got Edge of Night, he's got the Zhonya's. If you go for him, the team is immediately going to collapse on you and you're not going to kill off that Varus. You can see the poke he's doing with the piercing arrow and the Infernal. Flash forward, there's the equalizer onto Nuke, and Jackie's immediately on the backline. Shockwave has to be used to try and disengage. Parus flies in once again with the quickness, but Jackie's is having none of it. He'll get the kill. It's a 1-for-1 exchange as both the mid laners fall.
Jackie's was committed for at the very least getting his one. He will secure the kill onto Nuke, but he had to invest everything to get it. Now, with both mid laners gone, Irrelevant will TP back into the fight. But what's he really TPing for? 113 doesn't have the HP to really go for any more of a fight. His ultimate is unavailable. The poke connects.
Cell down as well now for 113. He's going to have to go back into his jungle to try and heal up some of that HP. In fact, just going to go for the recall. Isma constantly poking across the wall there. Parus looking for the engage. Jhin goes in onto Irrelevant. Headbutt pulverize. Irrelevant about to go mega, but 113 is a mile away. Doesn't have that paranoia back up. Baron available to both teams. Jackie's has TP in 15, as does Nuke. Respawn timers basically equal between the two of them now.
And that shot is unfortunately for Nuke not really getting a huge amount of value.
It's the Medgi's curse, man. You buy it, you have to immediately die. It's just the way it works.
Down to 2 stacks. BDS gain position over the Baron after GX need to commit some resets. Ward's now replenished by Jhin, but Parus is basically out.
Oh, this is really good positioning from Parus. If you can find something sneaky here, Noah's going to check the bush, though. Parus pops the quickness, 1-1-3, looking for the engage, but Parus is already down. Could have jumped across the wall, decided not to do it. Jackie's dives in, Jackie's dives for it! A 1-for-1 exchange. Just two players getting caught.
This late into the game, you can't be trying to make those isolated hero plays because BDS has proven that they're way too good at locking you down and shutting you out. Jackie's needs more of a distraction before he can look to try and make those plays. The good news for BDS is that GX ultimately got too hypey.
Yeah.
They saw that pick, they wanted to try and fight for more when they should have just turned their attention back towards the Baron. Tried to use that to force another fight given that 1-1-3 had already used his ulti. So we return to a neutral state. The Elder spawns in 20 seconds, and it's BDS that have position over the Dragon.
And Jackie's won't be alive for the spawn of this Elder, who will be up a couple of seconds afterwards, but doesn't have teleport, remember. Used it to get back in to the last fight around the Baron. BDS trying to set up around the Elder. Parus on his way down through mid, currently just passing the inhibitor line. BDS have the vision control. You can see GIANTX trying to poke through here, see if they can spot anything. Now Jackie's respawns, immediately sprinting his way to join the rest of his team. BDS playing through the mid lane prio. Could just go for the Baron as well. Don't really want to give up the Elder. Nuke and 1-1-3 stepping forward, perhaps looking to see if they can catch out Jackie's. 1-1-3 goes in, but Nuke wasn't ready to pop the shockwave. Now 1-1-3 has to use the spell shield to get out. It's the paranoia down for a little while at least, and BDS's opportunity to put Jackie's through a quick cycle comes up short.
Get the idea, but onto an Akali, that was going to be a very difficult task. That ulti from 1-1-3 being unavailable for the Elder is a scary situation for BDS to be in. We turn our attention to Ice once more. 10-0-6 the scoreline for him, reminiscent of what we saw from him yesterday. The Elder getting lower and lower, and BDS can't find a way into the river.
And 1-1-3 doesn't have a quick route in either, because that paranoia is still not off cooldown. Curtains open, Irrelevant looking for it. Equalizer onto Ice, he has to step up. 1-1-3 trying to get close, but the Impale will lock him up, and there's the Elder Drake over to GIANTX. And with how close the fights have been, you have to feel this is the opportunity for GIANTX to really win things out. They find two, they'll turn their eyes instead of the fight towards the Baron. And that might just be the final nail in the coffin for BDS.
It's been an intense back and forth between the two teams, but without that Nocturne ult available, BDS did not have an easy way to contest the Dragon. They concede the Elder, they will lose the Baron, and now GX is in a prime position to take game one of this best of three.
45 minutes in. Man, the last couple of weeks have been full of these long games, close back and forth. Maybe we'll see a Nexus left on 1 HP again. For GIANTX, it's really well played. Like 1-1-3 obviously has already used the paranoia. Equalizer going onto the curtain call means Ice can't get more shots out. And then the Impale on 1-1-3 as he tries to get in, just locks him up.
It was a very challenging approach for BDS, and Jhin doing a good job of gatekeeping the river.
Yeah.
Now we turn our attention back to live. 45 minutes in, GX is fully empowered with both the spirit of Elder and Baron.
But not of Rakan, Vedi.
While that is true, I don't think they care. They'll set their sights on the first inhibitor tower of the game.
Yeah, they have two waves left of the Elder Dragon buff, so they want to try and escort these minions in, keep them alive as long as they can, because otherwise it becomes hard to really force into BDS's base.
Only committing onto this lane though, you look across the minimap and those wave states are not ideal. This could be great for BDS to stall things out.
42 seconds before the Elder expires. Equalizer does clip onto Irrelevant. Nuke has to flash away. Irrelevant trying to get towards the Mega, but the wave coming in with the Equalizer splitting BDS up. There's the shockwave onto Jackie's. He manages to dash away. Parus trying to survive. Gets impaled. It's two members in there. Irrelevant yeeted back, and all he can do is get GIANTX closer to his Nexus. In a 46-minute slugfest, GIANTX will go 1-0 up.